Coming up on this edition of OC News, we have new developments on the Standing Rock situation. Shai Arias will have a report on it. Plus, all of the stress of final exams is beginning to mount on students at Cal State Fullerton. Robert Cavazos is live on campus on how students are handling all the pressure. Also, Dottie Liao will have a report on the longest-running student newspaper in Southern California. All of that and more straight ahead on OC News.
Welcome to OC News. I'm Gustavo Holguin.
And I'm James Wallace. OC News is brought to you by the broadcast journalism students at Cal State Fullerton.
It's that time of year again. Stress is in the air, and finals week is right around the corner. We have our very own Robert Cavazos, more with how students are preparing. Robert?
Earlier today, I had the chance to speak with a couple of Cal State Fullerton students and get their thoughts and see how they prepare for finals week. Let's take a look.
The stress and taking the finals sounds really not fun, and I'm just really looking forward to them being over.
Well, I think this year finals are going to be easy, and how I'm going to prepare is just doing a lot of study, just make flashcards for my history final, and the rest, just a lot of memorization.
Definitely like to make flashcards. Flashcards help. Drink a lot of Red Bull, and just really put my head down and focus in the library.
Normal routine now, just looking through my notes and looking through the materials, just to make sure I know all my stuff.
I usually study in the library, sometimes in my room, but it depends. If my roommates are home and stuff like that, I tend to stay in the library, keep to myself.
That's right. I wish I was as prepared as Vernon is for finals week. Now, here's a few helpful hints to keep you from having to peek over at your neighbor's Scantron during finals week. Eat a good breakfast. Get a good amount of sleep. Do some note cards, flashcards, study with a partner, form a study group, and have some confidence. For OC News, I'm Robert Cavazos.
Thank you, Robert. Finals are definitely approaching faster than expected, which means students will be hitting the books to wrap up this fall semester. ASI and other resources on campus are offering amenities for Cal State Fullerton students. Here is Roxana with more on the story.
Cal State Fullerton presents their 24 all-night study starting today, rolling all the way to December 16th. Some of the amenities that we are going to offer here is going to be puppy which is going to take place in the Becker Amphitheater from 1 to 3, as well as back and neck massages here in the TSU from 10 to 2 a.m. And lastly, Taco Tag on Thursday, December 15th in the Student Rec Center from 7 to 9 p.m. The hours at the library will also be extended all the way from now until next Thursday, 24 hours, 7 days a week. And lastly, the Starbucks is also going to extend their hours for this week starting at 7 a.m. p.m. From OC News, I'm...
Well, thank you, Roxana. We seem to be having some technical difficulties, but Standing Rock is celebrating after the Dakota Access Pipeline has come to a halt. But there is still some concern among the protesters. We have Shaida with more on that.
Roars of joy broke through in North Dakota. The Standing Rock Sioux tribe scored a major victory after the Department of the Army Corps announced it would not allow the pipeline to travel along the Missouri River.
Well, as a Native American, this decision is really relieving, not just as a Native American, but just as a person who I'm tired of hearing how much people are getting away with just being violent towards each other.
The crude oil pipeline was 95% finished, but fears of it potentially contaminating thousands residing down the river prevented its completion.
Too much of a risk to the drinking water, to the thousands of people of the Standing Rock Sioux Nation. Too much of a risk for the sacred sites all along that route in this area. And too much of a risk for us as a planet.
Blessing to the Standing Rock Sioux.
What we see has never been seen before in the written history of our people. We have never known a time when non-Native American allies from around the country, around the world, have come here in the dead of winter to stand with us, to stand together, to call for a new day.
The energy companies vested in this project consider this a political action by the Obama administration. They will continue to pursue this project.
President-elect Trump could override what just happened today on January 20th and grant that easement, then we're in for a world of hurt. Nothing has changed for us.
OC News.
A fire broke out over the weekend in Oakland, California. The blaze killed dozens of people. Authorities are in search of bodies and ruins of this fire-torn building. Eric Resendiz has the latest. Eric?
Thank you, James. As of now, rescue teams have only found 33 bodies and still have to search through 70% of the burned warehouse. Among the dead are teens and a deputy's son. Let's take a look. Families and friends mourn the death of their loved ones, victims of the warehouse fire. They created a memorial filled with candles and flowers to remember them. Others join and share the grief.
We don't know him, but we just know her that his son is missing.
Oakland Fire Department battled a massive warehouse fire in Oakland, California. The fire started late Friday night during an electrical dance party. The roof collapsed onto the second floor, parts of that onto the first floor. More than 2 days after the blaze, authorities continue to search for victims.
We have located and recovered 36 victims. Of the 36, 11 have been positively identified and their family members have been appropriately notified.
Survivors now are sharing their frightening escape.
We tried to figure out where the smoke was coming from, and then we saw where the fire was. It was on the back left corner of the space, and started yelling and trying to get everyone out.
I was in my loft. I went to jump down to try to help, and before I could even get down there, I heard another yell, fire, everybody get out.
Officials say partygoers would have had trouble getting out because the only stairway to the first floor was made out of pallets. City officials say they had not issued a permit for the event that night.
I can tell you when I was in there throughout the evening, the somber approach that our firefighters and Alameda County Sheriff Department members took to this search.
Families of the victims are still being notified, and authorities fear that the death toll will go up, and they expect the search to go on for a couple more days. And Oakland Fire Department says that they are nowhere near to find the cause of the fire, and they expect for this to take on for some time. Live in the studio, Eric Resendiz, OC News.
Thank you for that, Eric. A mystery on the 91 freeway in Anaheim. It involved 2 motorcyclists, a shooting, and 1 person stabbed. The CHP closed the freeway at Tustin Avenue for a short time last night. OC News' Jillian Salas has an update on the story. Jillian?
We're here on scene where a reported shooting occurred last night at the 91 freeway. CHP officers reported a shooting between 2 motorcyclists last night around 6 p.m. The first motorcyclist was transported to a nearby hospital with a gun wound to his forearm. The second motorcyclist checked himself in 20 minutes later with stab wounds to the torso. Officers found a gun concealed on the second motorcyclist and arrested him at the hospital. The motive of the incident is still unknown, but CHP officers are requesting the public's help for any information regarding the incident to contact their Santa Ana Bureau. As you can see now, traffic is a little bit clear, but last night traffic was backed up until the 57. I'm Jillian Salas, back to you two at the studio.
Fullerton College's student-run newspaper, The Hornet, has recently undergone the biggest change in its 94 years of publication. It is chilly out there. Keep it here, and I'll let you know what the rest of the week will look like.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
It's now December and it's been chilly lately. Will the cold weather continue? Natalie Gomez tells how the rest of the week will play out. Natalie?
Well, thank you, James. You're right. It is very chilly out there. We're starting off with what is currently, it's 61 degrees. which is very cold for us Californians, well, Southern Californians. We have a low of 48 degrees, humidity 64, but no chances of rain, so we're lucky there. And sunrise was 6:42, sunset 4:42. It's actually already dark out there for those of you who are watching. And now we're gonna look at our national weather, gonna see what's going on across the country here. And if I can just get acquainted here, New York, 38 degrees, Chicago, 30 degrees. I know yesterday was their first day of snow. Over down south, they're getting a lot of rain down there. And as we make our way back on west, Denver, 16 degrees. Ooh, I can't. And of course, over here in San Francisco, 46, and here in Southern California, like I said, 60 degrees. So even though it's chilly for us, compared to what's happening across the country, it's really not that cold. Also, going to look at the 5-day cast. Tomorrow, which is Tuesday, we have a high of 64, low of 46, and then as we make our way over to Wednesday, we're going to see some clouds, 67, low 44, and Thursday will probably be the only day where we get the sunshine all day, 71 degrees and a low of 48. Friday, 70, and Saturday, 67 degrees. So temperatures still, being cool, and hopefully next week it'll be much warmer, but for now, nice and steady, and that's all I have for weather. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Natalie, for helping us get ready for our Southern California winter. Here at Cal State Fullerton, we have, the Daily Titan. Down the street, Fullerton College is home of the Hornet newspaper, one of the longest running student newspapers in Southern California. And it's recently undergone some major changes. Here's Dottie Liao with more on the Hornet.
We're here at Fullerton College, where the Hornet has been running for nearly 100 years.
Well, the Hornet's been around since 1922. It's the oldest student-run publication in Orange County. And it's one of the oldest community college newspapers in the state. We are the oldest continually operating community college. The campus just celebrated its centennial, and we, the Hornet, are coming up on our centennial in 2022. There's a history of stuff that we've covered that have happened in Southern California, from things that happened in the 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s, all the way up until now. And it's all been student produced, and we just, student run, student governed. This is the first semester that we've stopped printing newspapers. So we are 100% digital. Well, we developed an app, and right now we're pushing the app to let students know this is a resource for student information. Because as today, everybody's on their phones. So we just realized that we have to go to get information to the students, we have to go where they live. And just now with the new version of what journalism's rolling into is kind of interesting to see where the Hornet's going to go in the next couple of years. By the time we reach our centennial, we might be a whole different looking kind of thing with virtual reality or something like that. So we'll have to see how that goes.
Hello, welcome back. I just got through a sandstorm, and this week in health, President Obama pushes through the new 21st Century Act, and chicken is recalled. Reporter Christina Massari has more on these stories.
The start of December is already bringing major events in health. Currently, the U.S. Senate is voting on the 21st Century Cures Act that will help unlock cures for Alzheimer's, cancers, and treatment for opioid addictions. Earlier this week, the House of Representatives passed an act with a huge margin, 392 to 26. President Obama said in his weekly address that he will sign it as soon as it reaches his desk.
Like a lot of you, I've lost people that I love deeply to cancer. I hear every day from Americans whose loved ones are suffering from addiction and other debilitating diseases. And I believe we should seize every chance we have to find cures as soon as possible. When it's your family, hope can't come soon enough.
In President Obama's State of the Union address this year, he set a goal for making America the country that ends cancer, and he believes this act is a step in that direction. The act will significantly invest in Joe Biden's Cancer Moonshot, which focuses on accelerated cancer research. Also, the act will grant funds to researchers who are working to treat and cure all types of brain disorders such as Alzheimer's, epilepsy, traumatic brain injury, and the Senate vote happens tonight at 5:30 and will determine the future of the 21st Century Cures Act. In other health-related news, National Steak and Poultry issued a recall of 1.9 million pounds of ready-to-eat chicken. The products are sold to consumers as fully cooked, but the National Steak and Poultry now believes some of those products may be undercooked and harboring bacteria. The Oklahoma-based company has recalled their products nationwide, produced between August 20th through November 30th. The USDA categorizes this as a Class 1 recall, which means there is a reasonable probability that the use of the products will cause adverse health consequences or death. That's it for health news. Back to James and Gustavo.
Thank you, Christina. Cal State Fullerton and television giant Univision join forces. Our own Marissa Alaniz has more on this big announcement. Marissa?
Now that Cal State Fullerton has partnered with Univision, it's supposed to bring young bilingual speakers to the new station to give them the opportunity to see the live broadcasts being done, as well as bringing a better cast and having the audience having more of a young audience. There will be a ribbon cutting ceremony on the 15th, and there will surely be there from Univision, and as well as a lot of other people. That would be great for making connections. This is Marissa Alaniz for OC News.
Thank you, Marissa. Now from the ice rink to the football field, Rebecca has a recap of the Ducks and Kings games and Seattle Seahawks coverage after the break.
We talked a lot about how stressful finals week can be, but students are looking forward to the week following. Our reporter, Valentina, is live on location asking students their plans for the week when they can finally distress. And I will be here covering movies from a galaxy far, far away. Stay tuned and I'll see you in a bit.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
If I got to go to college, oh my goodness. I like discovering new things. You get to see what works for you and what doesn't. That helps you evolve as a person. You get to make like a supernova of skill or talent or whatever it is. I've always wanted to go to college. I just feel like that's my destiny. My name is Queen, and I am your dividend.
The Anaheim Ducks and LA Kings were back in action over the weekend. Rebecca has more on the games. Rebecca?
It was a busy week for the local hockey teams. The Anaheim Ducks suffered a tough loss Sunday night against the Calgary Flames. 2 minutes and 50 seconds into the second period, Ryan Kessler of the Ducks ties the game with a pass from defenseman Andrew Cogliano, tying the game 1-1. 10 minutes later, Chris Versteege passes the puck to Troy Brouwer through the traffic to the front of the net. Brouwer scores his 6th goal of the season, reclaiming the lead for the Flames 2-1. The scoring just keeps coming for the Flames. Dennis Weidman scores on a slap shot through Bernier's armpit, extending the Flames' lead 5-1. With only about 2 minutes left in the second period, the Flames continue to scoring yet another goal from Dougie Hamilton, who scores on a one-timer from Matt Stajan's pass. Kessler and Logan Shaw will score for the Ducks late in the third period, but it won't be enough. The Flames win 3-8. The LA Kings took on the best goalie in the league, Carey Price, and the Montreal Canadiens in a Sunday matinee game as they look to prevent the California sweep. The Canadiens will come out strong with a goal from Max Pacioretty only 2.5 minutes into the first period. Moving on to the second period, Jeff Carter ties the game at 1 apiece 50 seconds into the second period on a power play goal. Later, the Kings will take the lead with a goal from Nick Shore off the rebound, giving him his first goal of the season. Still with 14 minutes left in the second, the Canadiens' Pacioretty scored a power play goal to tie the game at 2-2, giving him his second goal of the night. Halfway through the second period, Drew Doughty scores a power play goal, regaining the lead for the Kings. Not even a minute later, the Canadiens score to tie the game. With a little over 2 minutes left in the period, Trevor Lewis takes the lead for the Kings with a backhand goal. Andrew Shaw of the Canadiens ties the game at 4 apiece, which will send the game into overtime. The game will go to a shootout. Going to the fourth round of the shootout, Tanner Pearson of the Kings skates in, but the shot is saved, giving the Canadiens a chance to win the game. Paul Byron of the Canadiens moves in and goes to the top shelf to give the Canadiens the win and preventing the California sweep. Going from the ice to the turf, the Seattle Seahawks took on the Carolina Panthers in Seattle. Cam Newton sat out the first play of the game due to not following the team's dress code rules. Derek Anderson would get the start and throws and gets intercepted by Mike Morgan, leaving the Seahawks in scoring position 6 seconds into the game. A minute and 30 seconds into the game, the Seahawks are already on the board thanks to a 23-yard field goal. With 6:42 left in the first quarter, the Seahawks score again with Thomas Rawls hurtling over the Panthers into the end zone. 12 minutes into the second quarter, Russell Wilson gets picked off at midfield by Trey Boston. 3rd and 17 for the Panthers, Cam Newton throws a pass downfield to Ted Ginn for a 55-yard touchdown pass, and then the only scoring play for the Panthers. The Seahawks would go and continue to dominate on offense and win the game 40-7. That's going to be it for me today in the world of sports. I'm Rebecca Vasquez. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Rebecca. We have movies that are out of this world and maybe out of this galaxy. Star Wars fans are excited for the release of Rogue One, a Star Wars story, but Hollywood residents will be faced with street closures due to the premiere. Closures will be on Hollywood Boulevard between Ivor and Argyle, and also Hollywood and Vine, and on the premiere date, December 10th. Also, a famous talk show host for the 89th Academy Awards has been announced. Can you guess who? Here's Karen Vargas with entertainment.
Thanks, James. That's right. Let's see what's going on in the movie world. The countdown is officially on for Star Wars fans as Rogue One, a Star Wars story, is set to release this month. Rogue One is the first of the Star Wars standalone films in which a group of unlikely heroes mission together and plan to steal the Death Star, the ultimate weapon of destruction. It's a story of ordinary people doing extraordinary things.
Save the rebellion! Save the dream!
Rogue One, a Star Wars story, will be released in theaters on Friday, December 16th. Go check it out. Christmas has come early for Marvel's fans as Marvel Studios has released its brand new teaser trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 this past weekend. It's the continuation of the team's adventures to figure out the mystery of Peter Quill's true parentage, all while trying to keep their newfound family together as they travel through the cosmos. Now let's head back to Earth and to the present as Jimmy Kimmel was announced earlier today to host the 89th Annual Academy Awards next February. He tweeted, "Yes, I am hosting the awards. This is not a prank, and if this is my revenge at the Academy, it will be terrible and sweet. Thanks to ALF Formal Wear." Even though this late-night talk show host is no stranger to hosting award shows, as he hosted the Emmys twice and ESPN ESPY Awards, this will be his first time hosting the Academy Awards. I'm definitely looking forward to Jimmy Kimmel hosting, and I have no doubt that he's going to do great. And that's going to be me. That's going to be me from entertainment. Back to you to the studio.
Though students may be stressing for finals, they can relax the week after. Our reporter Valentina is live on location. Valentina?
Thank you, James. And yes, as the semester comes to an end here at Cal State Fullerton, students are inputting their final hours into studying, burying their heads into the textbooks. I'm here at the TSU asking students what their plans are for this winter break. And here I have Kevin. Kevin, what are your plans for when school's out?
I'm just gonna go to Seattle, Washington. Yeah, straight after finals are over. I'm just gonna book it with my friends, get a van, and we're just gonna go all the way up to Seattle, Washington. Yeah.
Okay, so are you hitting any other states in between on the way back?
Yeah, of course. We have to go through Oregon, so we're gonna stay in like Portland, Oregon for a while, and then probably camp in like the redwood forests and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And like make a bonfire, and probably burn all our papers. Yeah.
Sweet. Well, I know I'm going to be enjoying my winter break, but I can't beat that. What are your guys' plans back in the studio? I'm Valentina Valenzuela reporting for OC News.
Well, that concludes this edition of A Very Smooth OC News. Thank you very much for spending part of your Monday with us.
Don't forget to follow us on all of our social media at OC News CSUF, and you can watch all of our reruns on YouTube. Thanks again for joining us. I'm James Wallace.
And I'm Gustavo Aguin. We wish you the best for finals week.